Welcome back to ASBR Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined, as always, for a weekly preview with my esteemed colleague, Elliott. Elliott, thanks for joining me. How are you?
Good, Paul. Good, Paul. As you say, yeah, we do this weekly. Great to see you again. Brightens up my week every week. What a way to start it. Let's get into it. And yeah, looking forward to go through the fights with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, this weekend, suppose there's a massive card on UK shores, which this video is entirely going to be focused on. There are some other fights going on around the world, obviously, and on different cards over the weekend. But we thought we'll just focus on this one card, this BT Sport Queensbury show from the Copper Box Arena in London. And I believe, Elliot, you're going to take us through the first fight, the big one we've
Oh,
all been waiting for.
the thing is, it is one that I've been waiting for. Like I wasn't on the train, but I'm on the train now, and that is a Joyce train that rolls in, as you say, to the copper box on this weekend. Let's just as we always do a little tail of the tape, taking you through it. So Joyce, obviously, amateur silver medalist, Olympic silver medalist, but in the professional ranks, 15-0-0 record with 14 KOs, 6'6" with an 80-inch reach. 37 years old, which you may be thinking, Christ, that could be past his best. But no, because the guy he's fighting Zhang is 39 years old with a record of 24-1-1 with 19 KOs, 6'6" as well. So nothing in height there. But just to go through the records, I suppose, Joyce, obviously, there's been a lot of expectations around Joyce. He's been known for a while. No real surprises to a British audience, really. But I suppose has been criticised potentially for being quite slow, being quite methodical. But I think people have come to really appreciate that recently. And his kind of going forward refusal to essentially take a shot and land several of his own, take three, land one, but stop the opponent. And on his record, he's got Stavern, Yusunov. I was there for Yusunov. That was quite a slow night, but still credible name on the record. Daniel Dubois, which I think everyone was a bit like, oh, crikey, here we go. Like this is the sort of knockout I think that really kind of propelled him to possibly the next level. Carlos Takam's on that record. Christian Hammer's obviously a name that's been around with numerous heavyweights records. But then the last time out, obviously stopped Joseph Parker, which was a hell of a fight, to be perfectly honest with you. I think we were all surprised at that as well. He took numerous combinations and shots from Parker, but ended up sort of grinding him down, stopping him in the 11th. Zhang, on the other hand, is a guy who recently lost Filip Hrgović, contentiously, actually, in some ways. A lot of people think that Zhang might have actually got through on that fight as well. But other names on his record would be Jerry Forrest, I suppose, Devon Vargas are the kind of names that are sort of around on his record. So I suppose really you're looking at this and you're looking at Joyce in the heavyweight rankings at least is up there. You know, he's mandatory for Usyk's, I believe it's a WBO title that Usyk holds there. He's up, he's in the sort of top five now of the ring rankings up at heavyweight, whereas Zhang isn't around the top 10. So in many ways, really, I suppose this is kind of a fight, hopefully for Joyce to kind of stay busy, I suppose, and then hopefully get a title shot potentially against Usyk after this. But Paul, I'm going to come to you and say, is that an opinion you share? Do you think that both of these guys have got a lot of knockouts on their record? I mean, do you expect this to go the distance? If not, do you expect it to be a Joyce stoppage? And if so, do you expect it to be a routine stoppage? Are the questions that I'll put to you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Elliot. Very eloquent and detailed breakdown, Elliot. I completely agree with what you've said there to answer your question. I think looking at Joyce's last performance against Joseph Parker, that was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. Um, just the amount of shots he can take to then just be like, mate, you haven't done anything there. I can't even feel that. And then just through his own, as you said. Obviously, you mentioned there was a lot of people saying Joyce is slow, but in this fight, I think he'll look like a flyweight in terms of speed compared to Zhang. So yeah, both neither man here really, you would say are the fastest of heavyweights, but yeah, in all seriousness, I think Zhang did beat Filip Hrgović last time out. So I don't think the loss on his record is a loss, to be quite frank. However, although he won against Hrgović, I thought Hrgović was really poor that night, and the gas tank left a lot to be desired of Zhang for me as well. We already knew that. He's approaching 40 now. I think Joe Joyce stops Zhang, and I think it'll probably be in the mid rounds to around maybe 7 or 8. I don't really see it going past 8 rounds, to be honest with you, because I don't think Zhang's gas tank will be able to cope that long if Joyce is landing his clubbing shots. Joyce, I think Zhang will be dangerous early on, first 3 rounds maybe. I give him 3 rounds to land something meaningful on Joyce, and if he hasn't by then, it's a Joyce routine victory for me. I think he'll stop him, and yeah, as I mentioned, I'm expecting a mid round stoppage for Joe Joyce here.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, to be honest. I mean, a lot of people have asked whether, I suppose, where the limit is for Joyce chin wise, whether I suppose from a while to downwards, and whether sort of Zhang will be the one to stop him. He's got a lot of KOs, but I don't think so personally either. I think I totally agree with you. I think Joyce will just kind of grind him. The gas tank will go sort of mid, probably from sort of rounds 3 or 4, like you say, onwards, and then it will just be a stoppage. It'll be inevitable, really, somewhere around 6, 7, 8, I reckon, as well. So I totally agree with you, Paul. But as you know, as we're looking to whistle stop as well, as you know, as Joyce will be looking to do against Zhang here and cut through this early doors. So I move on to you now, if I suppose, for our second fight, which is equally, I believe, coming from the copper box. Paul, would you please like to take us through that one?
You are indeed correct, mate. The second fight we're going to look at comes on the undercard from the Copper Box this weekend as Denzel Bentley is back in action against Kieran Smith. Bentley's first fight since losing that credible loss to Zanabek last time out for the WBO World Middleweight title, of course. Quick tail of the tape as always. Denzel Bentley 17-2, 14 stoppage wins. He's 28 years old, orthodox fighter. He's 5'11". Course, Kieran Smith, his opponent, is 18-1. He's 29 years old. He's a little taller at 6'2". He is a southpaw as well from Scotland. So I know Greg will be cheering him on to become British middleweight champion this weekend. Since losing to Felix Cash, I think it's fair to say Denzel Bentley's actually, he's kind of put that loss behind him. Since then he's beaten Sam Evans, Marcus Morrison, beat Udofia in a cracking fight, and then was as we said, credible loss last time out to Zanabek. A lot of people, I know, including yourself, didn't expect Bentley to last more than 3 or 4 rounds, and you know what, I think that was a fair assumption, but he definitely overperformed despite losing the fight. Kieran Smith's only defeat came down at light middleweight against Troy Williamson, a name we're all familiar with. Williamson stopped him in 6 rounds, I believe it was, back in April 2021. So, yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I think, obviously, stop him. I think Denzel Bentley should be able to stop Kieran Smith. What are your general thoughts on the fight, Elliot? Do you think it's a good matchup? Do you think it's a good fight back for Bentley after his loss? Do you think maybe potentially that loss could be playing, even though he put in a good performance, do you think it could maybe be playing in his mind that he lost last time out? How do you see this fight going? What do you make of it?
Actually, I think this is a great fight. Yeah, I think it's probably for me. It's actually probably the fight of the night. You're exactly right. I thought that Denzel Bentley would be baptized in his last fight, frankly. But he showed a good performance. I was stunned when he went the distance there. So to be honest with you, it's one of those ones for me where even if you lose, you actually come out with it with more credit than you sort of went in with. So in a way, he's kind of elevated the status by even in losing that fight by going the distance. This fight again, obviously, you say like as you eloquently gave us there. Obviously, Kieran Smith has lost once, obviously to Troy Williamson, who you know is obviously is a big fighter down that weight as well. So for me, I think it's a good test for Bentley. I do think. I've watched him fight, Dofia. I've seen him fight a few times now. I actually think Bentley will have too much for him. I think he will get to him actually at some point. So I do think that the Bentley KO is coming. But I think the interesting thing for me again would be like how obviously he deals with like you said, the southpaw style as well and adapts to that. But I do think Denzel Bentley victory. Big fan of Denzel Bentley. So yeah, onwards and upwards I think for him. But yeah, Bentley by KO. Not early though. I think it'll be late if it does come. Somewhere sort of 9+ is what I'm looking at on that one.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think I'd maybe go slightly earlier. I would say second half of the fight, maybe. Or do you know what? I'd maybe even go the middle 4 rounds, something like 5 to 8, something around there. I think it might be around 7 or 8. I think it'll probably come then, the stoppage. Smith's fought twice, middleweight since moving up from light middle, both points victories, but against limited opposition. So yeah, I fully expect Denzel Bentley to come through here and get back to winning ways. And yeah, a fight I'd like to see would be Denzel Bentley against Tyler Denny next for the British title. That would be a good defense because I think Denny deserves his British title shot. Whether Bentley vacates or not, I think that would be a good fight. But yeah, that's a conversation for another day. We may as well go on to our third and final fight, Elliot, of this weekly preview, and it again comes on the undercard. And apologies in advance if I butcher this fella's name, but Sam Noakes is back in action. Everyone knows it, the name is Sam Noakes. Bit of a hype train around him at the minute, and he is up against Harthik Sathish Kumar. We'll just call him Kumar,
Done, well done.
and he's up against
Negotiate
Kumar.
the
And
W.
on paper, this is a fight that you look at, and it's a 10-0 fighter against a 10-0 fighter, both undefeated. Noakes, all 10 of his victories have been stoppages. Kumar has four stoppage victories. Noakes 25, Kumar's 26. Obviously, Noakes is from Britain. He's Orthodox fighter and he's 5'8". Kumar is from India, Orthodox fighter as well, and is 5'7.5". Interestingly, Kumar actually fought last month, and won a round two retirement, over in Bangkok, at a fight in Bangkok. So the inactivity isn't the problem here for Kumar. But I did a bit of diving into his record, Elliot, and it kind of made me laugh a little bit. I think that on paper this looks like a good matchup for Noakes, but I'm not sure if it actually will be. As what astounded me was the fact that Kumar has only fought one person in his 10 fights who has actually had more than seven professional fights, right? And the man who he did fight, who had more than seven fights, is a guy called Hero Tito, who has a record of 30, 15, and 2. So half the amount of losses as he has wins. He's had over 47 fights, and Kumar won a unanimous decision back in December 2021 against him. You look at Sam Noakes, and I'm fair to say there is a bit of a hype train about him. BT Sport, Queensbury definitely getting behind him. All KO victories, as I mentioned, incredible wins over Sean Cooper, Finello on 2 fights ago, and last time out he had a fourth round stoppage, an emphatic victory over Calvin McCord back in November there. He's the current WBC International Silver Lightweight Champion and also the Commonwealth Champion. Those two belts are on the line here against Kumar. So yeah, an interesting fight. I enjoyed doing a bit of research into that one. It was pretty interesting. It's good to see on paper it's 10-0, so you can sell the undefeated against undefeated here. But in reality, I don't know about you, Elliot. I'll ask for your opinion in a second, but I expect an 11th stoppage victory here for Sam Noakes. Do you think it'll be another knockout victory here for Sam Noakes? And is 2023, is that the year he wins the British title, possibly?
Very interesting question. Very interesting question. I think based on what you were saying around obviously like the I suppose the sort of cadence and the sort of momentum behind Sam Noakes at the moment, and the guys he's fought obviously at the 11-2, the 15-4, the 12-0, are stopping those guys as well compared to Kumar's record, which hasn't got those sort of names or the guys with that experience on it. I do expect Sam Noakes frankly to win. I do expect him to win via KO. Interestingly, I also had a little look at Sam Noakes' record, and there's a Naim Ali on there that's got 2-70 record, which I think is only marginally worse than mine on the couples, which I think is somewhere around 3-55. So I think later. Does he win the British title next year? To be honest with you, yeah, I think that's a realistic possibility. To be perfectly honest, I think like we're looking at now, I suppose he'd be 11-0. I mean, how many times has he fought? He's fought twice last year. I think he fought 4 times maybe in 2021. So really, yeah, I mean, you're looking to obviously pick up a British title or be in those sort of fights somewhere between sort of 10 and 15 really on your record. So it should be the sort of time really where he does step up and obviously be WBC. I think it's WBC International. You were saying, is it this one in Commonwealth title this weekend? So yeah, I think should be definitely the aim this year, to get him out again, maybe once or even twice, and go for that. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think the current British champion at lightweight is Gavin Gwynn, who I believe is having his rematch with Craig Woodruff, as they had a draw. But I think that Gavin Gwynn's current British champion at lightweight, and obviously a brilliant fighter. And Doyle hit us for saying this, but I would expect Sam Noakes possibly to even beat Gavin Gwynn, which could be a big statement. But yeah, I think he's definitely an exciting fighter, and I'm looking forward to tuning in and watching him this weekend.
No, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. And I think like as Louis does it, Paul, our review this week. But as we always say, look, if you think we're talking sense, please let us know. If you think we're not talking sense, also let us know. Some of you have been very forthcoming with that, especially regarding feeding back to me on the sense issue. Fair play, keep those coming in. We've also, as we always say, we've got upcoming content coming this week from the Copper Box. Not only this preview, we've obviously got the betting show comes up weekly. We've got other interviews with fighters. We've got written and video content coming up this week. We'll be there at the weekend as well. So we're dropping content on Fight Night. Paul, as always, my man, fantastic to speak to you. We'll be back obviously next week. We might even be back together, partnered in the week for some other content. But all there's left to say right now is thank you to Paul. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again next week.